Hello, my name's Ed Frawley. My wife and I own Leerburg. I've got a good question and answer today. For those that are new to my Q&A sections on YouTube, we get questions on dog training or breeding or behavioral problems every single day. My wife answers them every morning. I think we're probably one of the few people on the internet that answer questions like this from people. You don't have to be a customer to ask a question. Just go to leerburg.com, scroll down to the Ask Cindy. You do have to put in your email address, and this is a good example of why we require that. And that is we need to tie your question and Cindy's answer to an email address. We don't sell your email address. We don't spam you with emails. That's not the reason why. There are times when people ask a question, when we have to go back to them through the ticket system for the Q&A and ask for additional question or additional information to answer the question. That's happened in this email here about a very reactive rescue dog. This is such a common thing with rescue dogs. I'm not saying, almost any rescue organization has great people that work there. And they want to find forever homes for these dogs. And a lot of times dogs are turned into a rescue, and the rescue people say they were abused when in fact the real reason is the dogs had genetic problems that the previous owners didn't know how to solve and didn't want to solve it, so they turned them in. But it doesn't matter whether it's a genetic problem or a problem that this dog has from poor training and poor living conditions, whatever. A reactive dog is still a reactive dog, and quite often the solution on how to manage that reactivity is the same, no matter whether it's from the previous owner or genetics. I'm going to read this question, and then I'll read what Cindy wrote back asking for more information, because there's a lot going on here. I'm the owner of an adopted dog who's been with me for 2 years, and it's estimated he's between 6 and 7 years old. He's been showing severe signs of dog aggression. Based on your videos I have seen so far regarding the different types of aggression, it seems to be prey aggression. It's not. And I can talk more about that later. I'm sure there are different types of aggression that are involved with to the untrained eye, and that's true. Are dogs with aggressive issues always considered a dominant dog? Absolutely not. I've never had any problem putting him in a crate. Always very responsive without needing to be rewarded. He's quick to lay down and flip on his back whenever I lean down to pet him or if he feels he's been done something to upset me. He's capable of being around 2 other family members' dogs where he acts more submissive. Possibly, I am misreading behavior. I think so. I know I'm doing things wrong and want so badly to help my rescue dog. I want to be the proper and safe owner for him, and I'm always having trouble figuring out what his temperament is. So, there's a lot going on there, and rather than go back and talk about that right now, I'm going to read the questions that Cindy asked because it'll help fill in the picture for us to make a recommendation when we're done here. What are the circumstances of your dog aggression? Is he behind a fence or on a leash or what? Is he only aggressive towards dogs or does he react to humans as well? To answer your question, dogs can have aggressive tendencies without being dominant. If you give me more information, I'll try and make some recommendations for you. And then the lady came back and said, when we are on walks, anytime he sees another dog, he seems to go into an immediate panic mode, lunging, barking, twisting himself, trying to get to them, regardless if the other dog is reacting in any way to my dog. He will sometimes have a milder version of this reaction with squirrels, birds, and motorcycles and bikes, and children who are running In our home, he typically is fine with guests once he investigates them, sitting at their feet or rolling over to let them rub his belly. Not really a sign of a dominant dog. Or he is slightly uncomfortable, he will stay close to me and sit by me. He has, however, with certain larger males become scared and given what Michael Ellis describes as the warning bark. He is also given the same warning bark if someone he is unfamiliar with lingers outside of his crate and tries to talk with him while he's in the crate. This week, my first fear transpired when a small unleashed dog that belongs to a neighbor got into our backyard. I often see this dog roaming around in the streets or in the alleyways next to our row house. The dog got into our backyard, and my boyfriend had Charlie out back to relieve himself. When the little dog ran from the back of the yard towards Charlie and the gate to get out, Charlie went into his full panic, got out of his prong collar, and chased the small dog and severely attacked it. It's a bad situation. Unfortunately, I did not even know about the combination leash collar with a prong collar, and that leash collar and the prong collars would come apart at times. I feel guilty for not doing enough research regarding prong collars and how they can come apart. I also realize there are many other things I'm doing wrong. Cindy went on and said, since your dog has already had success at attacking another dog, this behavior is going to be very hard to correct. And Cindy went on and said that she recommends a personal trainer in her area to take the dog to. But I'll go back to the beginning and skim this and talk about just a few of the things that she's talking about here. First, I'll say something about dominant dogs. Probably 99.999% of reactive dogs out there are not dominant. Very, very, very few dogs are dominant. In my 60-some year career of training dogs, being a police canine handler, producing dog training videos for 40 years, I've probably only seen 4 or 5 really super serious, strong, dominant dogs, maybe 10. But we're talking in thousands of dogs here. Dominance is rare. Reactivity is very common. This dog is not dominant. And to allow people, friends, neighbors, relatives, kids, to walk past a dog crate and stop and stare at that dog in the dog crate and try and dog to the dog, that's a bad idea. That's only going to create problems for you and your dog. People have to stop doing that. And if they won't stop doing it, take that dog crate and put it in another room and don't let the people go in there. That's step one here. And here she says, he's capable of being around 2 other family member dogs where he acts more submissive. We would never do that. I don't care. I have a lot of relatives, my own close relatives, sons, brothers, who have dogs. I would never let their dogs be near our dogs. There's no reason for that. It's just an accident waiting to happen. So those that disagree with me, well, we're going to agree to disagree. When this dog is out for a walk and he reacts to every other dog that it sees, and squirrels and bikes and all this, the truth is the only solution to that, quite frankly, comes back to management. We have a couple of very good courses. I would recommend that this woman get the course that we produced with Michael Ellis on leash reactivity in dogs. The beginning of managing that situation is find a place that's sterile to walk your dog. Don't walk the dog where there's a million other people walking the dogs. Don't walk the dog where there's even the possibility of unleashed dogs. Dog parks, terrible idea. And there's going to be a lot of people that shake their head. Well, those people are well-intended people that don't have the experience to know that they never know what dog's going to come walking through that gate. What owner is going to think, maybe like this person thinks, And not that she's bad, she just doesn't know. She wants to have a better dog. She wants to do the best thing for their dog. Now back to the point where she talked about how her dog gets so reactive on a walk when it sees another dog or bird or bike or whatever. The bottom line is with a dog like that, we would teach it to wear a muzzle. We would try and walk the dog in an environment where there weren't so many other dogs. We call it a sterile environment. It may require, if you don't have an environment like that, it may require you going at different hours. Get up and go early in the morning or in the evening, or we can't tell you when, but we would have this dog learn to wear a muzzle. We have a very good video on how to measure your dog for a muzzle, and we sell 80-some sizes and samples, or sizes and styles of muzzles. And we have another good video on how to condition your dog to wear a muzzle so it doesn't mind wearing a muzzle. This dog needs a muzzle. And quite frankly, some of the other things that she does that we would never do is that when somebody comes to our house, our dogs get put away. This dog should be put in a dog crate in another room, or this dog should be on a raised bed in an X-Pen, and the people that come into our house are told, don't talk to him, don't look at him, don't try and pet him. And I will tell you this, there are some people that cannot do that. I don't care how much you tell them not to react to this dog, they're going to sit there. I like Michael Ellis, our friend Michael Ellis, he is great at pantomiming how people act when we tell them to ignore a dog. And we got a puppy now. We have an employee. I don't care how many times we tell her, don't talk to my dog, don't look at my puppy, leave the puppy alone. And she cannot leave the puppy alone. It's just physically impossible. The only way we can deal with it is when we see her coming, we pick the puppy up, because we don't want the puppy to have a bad reaction. We don't want our puppy to see every new person and think, there's my best new friend. No, that's not what we want. We want our puppies focused on us. Once they get older and gone through a bunch of training, that's a different story. But if the puppy or the dog is not reactive, that doesn't matter. Leave my dog alone. Don't talk to my dog, don't pet my dog, don't look at my dog, and for sure don't do it when my dog is in an X-Pen or in a dog crate. But the bottom line with this person is they really need hands-on help with a local professional dog trainer that knows how to deal with leash reactivity. And not all professional dog trainers are professional dog trainers. Not all people that hang out a shingle saying professional dog trainers understand reactivity and dog aggression. Need to be very, very careful. I mean, you can get a lot of bad advice there. Well-intended people offering bad advice because they don't have the experience to work with dog aggression. It's a big issue with a lot of dogs, and it's an issue you need to be getting your information from the right people. And I will tell you again, I've already mentioned the courses we have on leash reactivity from very, very, very good dog trainers that are professional dog trainers that know their way around dog aggression. If you have a question on dog training, if you have a question on breeding, if you have a question on the health care for your dog, go into the front of Leerburg.com, scroll down to the Ask Cindy, and send Cindy a question. She'll answer it for you. And if we can't answer it, we're going to tell you. Like in this case, we're recommending that this customer go to a professional dog trainer in their area, because we're not going to solve it through this video. We're not going to solve it through our online courses. We're going to give them a lot of ideas, and if they go through those courses and watch them again and again and again, I always tell people, from 40 years ago when I started producing dog training videos, don't watch this video, a 2-hour, 3-hour, 4-hour video, or an online course that's got 150 short videos in it. Don't watch it one time. What can you remember if you just watch a video or go through an online course one time? You can't remember squat most of the time. They're meant to be watched 10 times, 20 times. Use them as references to go back to. And then you're going to be a lot better educated. If you do have to go to a professional dog trainer, you're going to be more educated because you can have a conversation with them before you hire them. And if you don't feel comfortable with it, walk away. Just like the same with your vet. If you go to a new vet and you're not comfortable with them, turn around and walk away.